From child star to pop icon, Janet Jackson's life has been full of eventful moments, in addition to a wonderful music career, making this star's journey in the industry nothing short of remarkable. Let's take a look at the incredible transformation of Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson entered the world of entertainment by default, whether she liked it or not. Her brothers had already started to pursue their careers as the Jackson 5 in 1965, a year before she was born. As mentioned in her BBC documentary, Taking Control, by the time Janet was 5 years old, her brothers had already achieved 4 #1 singles on the US Billboard Hot 100, signed a record deal with Motown, and had their own cartoon television series. Not long after, Janet followed in her brother's footsteps and appeared on the Jacksons' variety program. She also performed with her older brother, Randy Jackson, on an episode of The Carol Burnett Show. As she recalled in the doc, her work on the small screen caught the attention of television producer and writer Norman Lear, who saw her potential as an on-screen actor and cast her as Penny in the CBS sitcom Good Times. Before her groundbreaking music career, Janet Jackson was making waves as a child actor on Good Times. Even though Jackson started filming the show when she was just 11 years old, she was made to feel that her appearance wasn't good enough. In a 2012 interview on Anderson Live, she reflected on her time on the popular sitcom, which wasn't always a positive experience. Jackson explained she started to develop very early and that the women in charge of the wardrobe told her they had to bind her chest. Before they started to shoot the following season, she said she was told that she needed to lose weight. After Michael Jackson decided Dad Joe Jackson would no longer be his manager, the patriarch of the musical family used his time to manage Janet Jackson. At 16 years old, Janet Jackson released her self-titled debut album in 1982. As noted in the documentary, Taking Control, she did not get a chance to contribute much to the sound, and the songs were already written for her. According to Billboard, the LP peaked at number 63 on the US Billboard 200 and didn't make much noise. 2 years later, Janet dropped her second album, Dream Street, which also failed to make much of an impact. After her first 2 albums, Janet Jackson was determined to rule her own destiny. After moving to Minneapolis, she recorded her third studio album, Control, with hitmakers Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, which proved to be a wise decision. Released in 1986, Control was a huge success. As noted in Taking Control, it was the first time fans heard Janet writing and singing from her own real-life personal experiences. The record peaked at #1 on the US Billboard 200 chart and spawned 5 top 5 singles, and her first #1 hit song, When I Think of You. Control took Janet's career to new heights and was a worldwide success. Not only did the album introduce her music to audiences around the globe, but she finally started to be respected as a musician in her own right. Control was Janet Jackson's breakthrough album, and it was certainly no gimmick. When it came down to following up the release with another studio album, Jackson knew she had to step up her game to prove that she was no one-album wonder. 1989's Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814 cemented Janet's status as a pop icon and helped her set and break records no other artist had achieved. According to Billboard, the LP became the bestseller of 1990, along with being the only album in history to have 7 singles peak within the top 5 on the Hot 100 chart, and helped her become the first female artist to be nominated for Producer of the Year at the Grammy Awards in 1990. At the time, she was the only act to produce #1 hits on the Hot 100 chart in 3 different years. After achieving huge success with Control and Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation 1814, record executives were clamoring to sign Janet Jackson to their label. As Taking Control recounted, her deal was completed with A&M Records, so Janet signed to Richard Branson's label, Virgin Records, for $40 million in 1991, the largest contract in history at the time. She was eventually surpassed, but in 1996, Janet renewed her contract with Virgin for $80 million. Signing the largest contract in history for a second time. In a 1997 interview with Giselle Fernandez, Janet was asked what it felt like being the highest paid entertainer in the world, saying, "I really don't think about that, being the highest paid, really. Once the deal was done, it was just done. I went on about my life like I normally do." 1993's Janet saw Janet Jackson reinvent her image once again. This time, she was ready to show off her sexy side. Jackson hired legendary fashion photographer Patrick Demarchelier to shoot the album cover for the LP, which featured Jackson topless with her breasts covered by the hands of her second husband, Rene Elizondo. Her label at the time thought the image was too risque. As she stated in the BBC doc Taking Control, "That was supposed to be the album cover. So I said, okay, that's fine. Don't use it for the album cover. Let's use it for a magazine cover instead." So that's when we went to Rolling Stone and they fell in love with it. Jackson had no problem celebrating her own sexuality. The hitmaker's lyrics focused on her sexual pleasure and desire in various songs throughout the 1990s and 2000s. A duet between Janet Jackson and her King of Pop brother Michael Jackson had been a long time coming. In 1995, the two superstars came together and released the powerful single, Scream. Shot on an elaborately built spaceship set, the visual cost $7 million to make, according to Forbes, and over an estimated 64 million tuned in to watch the video's premiere. The following year, Janet and Michael won Best Short-Form Music Video at the Grammy Awards and nabbed 3 MTV Video Music Awards. It's no secret to Janet Jackson fans that she is a very private person. Therefore, it wasn't too much of a surprise when they found out she had secretly married Mexican dancer, songwriter, and director Rene Elizondo, who directed her music videos for That's the Way Love Goes and Again. The duo tied the knot in March 1991 at home in North San Diego County. However, they ultimately called it quits and announced they would be filing for divorce after about 9 years of marriage. Elizondo told E! in 2000, "We simply grew apart. We became more business and creative partners than actual lovers." In a 2000 tell-all interview with Matt Lauer on Today, Jackson admitted that she told very few friends and family members about her second marriage, only ones who she believed would keep the secret. Janet Jackson's 2004 Super Bowl performance has been well documented over the years and remains a hot topic. Jackson performed during the halftime show and invited Justin Timberlake on stage with her. At the end of their set, Timberlake ripped too much of her attire off and exposed her breast. Some people believe it was a publicity stunt, while others believe it was an accident. After the incident, Timberlake's solo career continued to propel, while Jackson's definitely took a hit. According to Billboard, her videos and singles were blacklisted from all the TV channels and radio stations Clear Channel Communications owned, which included MTV. During an appearance on The Oprah Winfrey Show, Jackson explained she regrets issuing an apology for something that wasn't done intentionally. As Forbes noted, the wardrobe malfunction more or less helped a now popular video platform hit the ground running, explaining, "Once YouTube launched, it was an enormous success, thanks in part to people looking for clips of Janet and Justin's performance." According to E! News, Janet Jackson met her third husband, Wissam Almana, in April 2010. 2 years later, the pair tied the knot at a private ceremony. However, Jackson didn't inform fans until the following year, instead sharing a joint statement on her website saying, "The rumors regarding an extravagant wedding are simply not true. Last year we were married in a quiet, private, and beautiful ceremony." In April 2016, Jackson shared in a video that she and Almana were expecting their first child. The duo welcomed son Issa Almana in January 2017. 3 months later, Jackson and her husband announced they were getting a divorce after 5 years of marriage. There was a moment where Janet Jackson fans wondered if she would ever return with any more music. After years of being absent from the music scene, the singer gave everyone the announcement they had been waiting for when she revealed she would be returning with a new studio album and a world tour in 2015. Janet released her 11th studio album, Unbreakable, in October of that year, which saw her collaborating with Missy Elliott and J. Cole. It was her first release since 2008's Discipline and was praised by music critics. As noted in Entertainment Weekly, the album became her 7th chart topper on the US Billboard 200. Not only that, Janet became the 3rd artist to have a #1 album across the last 4 decades. After such a long, successful, groundbreaking career, it was time for Janet Jackson to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In March 2019, the talented entertainer's hard work throughout the decades was honored by fellow musician Janelle Monáe, with her saying, "History is not complete without you, Janet. That's why we bow at your altar tonight." Jackson gave an endearing and humble speech saying, "As the youngest in the family, I was determined to make it on my own. I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet. But never in a million years did I expect to follow in their footsteps. Tonight, your baby sister has made it." In February 2019, Janet Jackson announced her first ever Las Vegas residency, Metamorphosis. The shows took place at the Park Theater in the Park MGM Resort and ran from May 2019 to August that same year, according to NME. The residency may have been a lot shorter than most, but she sure racked up the money. According to Billboard, she brought in a whopping $13 million from 18 shows. On February 10, 2020, Janet Jackson announced via Instagram that she will be releasing a new album titled Black Diamond that will be promoted with a world tour. As of this video, Black Diamond has yet to be released, and its tour was put on hold due to the global coronavirus pandemic. While fans wait for new music, they can look forward to her own two-part documentary that is scheduled to air in 2022 on A&E and Lifetime. The private singer is set to discuss the death of her father, Joe Jackson, and older brother, Michael Jackson, and will share her side of the story surrounding the 2004 Super Bowl performance. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite legendary musicians are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.